Alright, so I'm going to divide my paper up like this. And the reason I divided my paper up like this is because with poetry, a lot of times we chunk them down by lines. But as you can see, I chunk them by sentences. Because these are my complete thoughts. Okay, this is the author's complete thought, the sentence. So I chunk them by sentences. So I'm going to start with my first 4 lines here. And the first thing I'm going to do is make a summary. Because like I said, good readers check their comprehension as they're reading to make sure they know what's happening. So the first 4 lines say, the first time I walked with a girl I was 12, cold and weighted down with 2 oranges in my jacket. Now my summary here is pretty easy because I have one sentence that I'm dealing with. And so all I have is that he was cold and walking with a girl. And so I'm going to write that in my summary. Then I'm going to go to make my inference. And so I'm going to go back and I'm going to check my textual evidence, see what's happening in the text, and see what the writing says plus what I know. So I see, the first time I walked with a girl I was 12, cold and weighted down with 2 oranges in my jacket. So when I look at that, one of the things I think of is, first he says this, the first time he walked with a girl, he was 12. And I know that that's kind of a common age to go on a first date. So I think he doesn't just mean he went walking. I think my inference is that this is his first date. Okay? Now, as readers, a lot of times we'll make that inference naturally. But we need to stop and go, what does the text say? Does the writing say he's on a date? No, it doesn't say he's on a date. And so I have to make an inference that this is a date. Okay? I don't know for a fact, but I have to make that inference here. So my next set of lines, it says, December, frost cracking beneath my steps, my breath before me, then gone, as I walked toward her house, the one whose porch light burned yellow night and day, in any weather. So when I look at that, I know that it's cold as he walks towards her house. Now, summaries happen very naturally. A lot of times we'll do this automatically in our heads. But I'm putting it up there for you to see so that we can slow down the process. So that when we speed it up, we do it correctly. So now, I'm going to go to make my inference. I know what it says, that it's cold. He's walking towards her house. Now I'm going to figure out, what do I know about this? And when I look at this section, there are a couple things that stand out to me. But the one thing that stands out to me the most is that her house, the one whose porch light burned yellow, night and day, in any weather. And when I read that, when I think about night and day, in any weather, I think he's walked past her house a lot. Okay? Maybe this is someone he's known a long time. Maybe it's a girl he's had a crush on for a long time. I'm not sure. I mean, I could make an inference about that. But the one inference that I feel comfortable making is that he's been by her house a lot. A dog barked at me until she came out pulling at her gloves, face bright with rouge. So when I look at that, my summary's pretty easy there. She walks out of her house. It's not really complicated here. And I have 2 inferences I'm going to make here. One, I'm going to kind of take these last 3 chunks, and there's one thing that I'm starting to notice. Up here, where he talks about it's December, it's cold, There's frost. And then I see burned yellow, face bright. I get the sense that, based on what I know, is that these are all things that warmed him, even though it's cold. So I think that one inference is that she warms him up. Another inference I can make, because I'm a girl, and what I know is that when I put makeup on to go walking with a boy, I like him. Okay, so I think she likes him too. I know he's walked past her house a lot, but she's gotten ready for this date, so I think she likes him too.
Check mine when you do that.
What's that?
When you put on makeup and go walking.
Does my husband mind? Yeah, he's the only boy I walk with.
He's the only way you put on makeup to walk with.
What's that?
He's the only way you put on makeup.
That's right. That's right. All right, now I'm just going to do one more for you, and then in a second you're going to try. Okay? So in this one, it says, I smiled, touched her shoulder, and led her down the street, across a used car lot and a line of newly planted trees until we were breathing before a drugstore. So, I know that they're walking to a drugstore. Again, summaries are pretty easy. They happen naturally in your head. It's just your chance to check your understanding, okay, to monitor your comprehension. Now, my inference here, I see a couple different things. One, I see that he smiled, he touched, he led, and they were breathing before a drugstore. I don't see any talking. So I see all of these things, but I get the sense that based on what the writing says, these are all actions, right? Smiling, leading, touching, breathing, but it doesn't say anything about speaking. And what I know is that a lot of times if I'm nervous, I don't talk, or I talk too much. But in this case, I get the sense that maybe he's a little too nervous to talk. Okay, so I'm going to have you try here in a second, and I actually, I'm going to have you chunk your text just a little differently this time. We're going to put two sentences together. So I want you to go all the way down to line 30. You're going to put those two sentences together. And now I want you to quickly turn and point to someone, because that's going to be your partner. Okay? They need to be pointing back at you. Jesse's your partner. Okay, fair enough. You can move over and all partner up, or I don't see everybody pointing at someone. Everybody needs to be pointing at someone. Who are you pointing at, Kyle? Okay, perfect. Okay. All right. So that's your partner. So you need to move by your partner if you're not currently sitting. Yes. I still have this one. Thank you.